Have you ever had your oil light come on just as you get in the car? You see that it's on, and of course, you drive wherever you're going, and you get out and you go in and you come back out, crank up your car, and you're like, oh, yeah, the oil light's on. Well, one of my teenagers actually drove his car, evidently, not seeing that light, not paying attention to that light. It's a caution light. He drove his car until, guess what? The engine blew out. It was an adorable sports car that he had bought, and the engine blew out because he waited too long to take action and to do something. I want you to think about when your gas light is on. I think all of us have driven down to that edge. Have you ever had to call somebody to tow your car because you waited too long? Or how about you're starved and you're hungry and nobody's made dinner because it's up to you to make dinner? I think I've done that a few times. And when I'm starving, hungry, then I can't even think or make a decision on what I want to eat. And honestly, I feel a little lazy and tired, and I don't want to do it then. So what happens? Cheese sandwiches, ham sandwiches, or you go to Chick-fil-A, right? There's things that happen when we procrastinate too long. I bet you've been heading out on a trip. Are you an organized person, or are you one of those people who waits to the last minute? That goes to personality styles. But whoever we are, once we figure out what doesn't work and what makes us miserable, then we know we need to take the time and make it a priority and take care of it, fix it, plan for it, whatever it is. I had a friend in Mary Kay Cosmetics that she would wait to pack her clothes for an out of town trip, for a Dallas trip, and an hour the hour before. She's supposed to leave for the plane. She's packing her clothes. And I don't know about you, but I really don't like pressure. And once I'm pressured, I can't even think as well. So I have learned, because I could be a procrastinator, but I have learned to plan and do because life is more fun that way. I like to have fun. I like to enjoy life. So just lately, have you and your spouse been a little uptight with each other? Frustrated, maybe tempers flare easily. You're not enjoying being around each other quite so much. Why does this happen? Maybe you're too busy. Maybe there's been no conversations, no time together, no sharing what's going on in your life. Maybe you've got unresolved issues that are really an undercurrent that are making you tread angry waters each and every day because there's frustrations with one another. Maybe you'd rather not talk about them, and so you just stuff them and you don't talk about them. Maybe you're assuming everything will be fine. Yeah, I'm one of those until suddenly something big happens. And so I have noticed sometimes I think, oh, everything will be fine, or I want to ignore it. I'm too tired. I don't want to deal with it until the engine explodes until the engine goes out on the cute sports car. Do you see where I'm going with this? In every marriage, in every relationship, whether it's with your spouse or with your children or even with your friends, everyone wants to be heard. We want to know that those people who act like they love us are listening to us. They want to be understood. They want you to empathize and to reach out to them. They want to know you really care. And they want to be appreciated for whatever they do. So that might be working at home with the kids all day. It might be, cooking dinner. It might be mowing the grass. Whether you both work and you're earning paychecks or one person's doing that, we all divide up our responsibilities differently. And everybody wants to be appreciated. Nobody wants to be took for granted. So relationships take effort, listening, and understanding. So today I'm going to help you recognize what your spouse needs most from you. And not only that, as you start to think, what do they need most from me, you might be thinking, Well, I really don't care. I'm kind of tired of their mess laying here, and I'm tired of them coming in late. I'm tired of them not spending any time with me. And so you have all these objections. But if you will take a few minutes and invest into your relationship today, listen to this podcast till the end, I'm telling you, life can change because I'm going to give you one major concept that every human relationship, every human marriage needs. I promise. So listen to the end. Not only are you going to find out what they need from you, but you're going to find out, hey, you know what? There's a couple of things I really need. And if you take the materials that I provide in this, it's called The Chemistry of Lasting Love. You download them, print them, take a couple hours after dinner and the kids have gone to bed and sit down and go through these things together. And, if your spouse loves you, whether you're a man or a woman, and you ask your spouse to do this, you know, surely if they love you, they'll humor you. I would make sure I sit down. If you really have a turbulent relationship, do something nice, make their favorite dessert, take them out for something and say, hey, I've got something I really want us to look at. I heard this on a podcast. I want to share this with you. I think this could really, make our relationship better. So in the book of First Corinthians, it says, it's 13:4-7, verses 4-7. It says, love is patient. Love does not envy and it doesn't boast. It's not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It's not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. What must a couple do to stay happily married? Now, you might have got married and you're a newlywed, everything went great. You might think, I don't really even need this. But you know what? Everyone can use this, no matter whether your relationship's perfect or not perfect. These are concepts you're going to hear today that will enhance and make your love life better. There's a book and it's called His Needs, Her Needs. And this is taken from that. Romantic love only happens when each person continues to make, wait for it, love deposits into each other's account. It's just like a bank account. You're either making withdrawals with nasty words and arguments and sarcasm, or you're making deposits with appreciation, listening to your spouse. Do you see what I'm saying? You're either making deposits or you're making withdrawals. Romantic love only happens when each person, both of you, continue to make love deposits into the other person's account. A romantic relationship is between two people in love who meet each other's intimate emotional needs. I have to say it again because it's so important. A romantic relationship is between two people, not just one doing everything, in love who meet each other's intimate emotional needs. And an emotional need, what is an emotional need? Everybody's thinking, I'm not emotional. It is a craving that satisfies, that when satisfied, leaves us feeling happy and content. When it's unsatisfied, we feel unhappy and frustrated. We've most of us have heard of the love languages, and there's just 5 love languages. And I'm not giving you those today. You can hunt those on my podcast. But this is going to be 15 needs, and you're going to be top in 5 of them. You're going to figure out which 5 are for you and which 5 are for your spouse. Typically, men have a certain 5 and women have a certain 5. But just like our personalities, where all our personalities are different, men and women are not all alike. You know what I mean? Like all women, all men, they're not all alike. And so you're going to look through these 15, listen up, and you're going to find your top 5. And then you're going to let your spouse find their top 5. Then you're going to put them beside each other. And the Chemistry of Lasting Love, there is the sheets, the guide for that. And it's also going to give you some date night ideas. So you want to make sure you download that, the Chemistry of Lasting Love. You'll make sure you download that. All right, so here's Here are the 15 needs. Now, you might be in the car, you might be exercising, maybe you can come back to this, but nevertheless, you can go to theextraordinarymarriage.com slash five, the number five, not written out by a word, but the number five needs. Theextraordinarymarriage.com slash five needs and download this for free. I would love to hear back from you and hear what kind of difference it's made for you. All right. So the number one is affection. Affection says, I care about you. You're important to me. Your problems are important to me. I want to listen to you. Affection is spending that time together watching TV, holding hands, having a conversation, a hug, a back rub, a kiss. That's affection. And when it comes to the different personality styles, some people are literally not that affectionate. And if you're not, you're going to have to find some way to make up for that or practice and do it until you get it. So it might not be natural for you to be affectionate. Maybe you're raised in a home that was not affectionate, right? Affection says, I care about you. That's the first one. The second one is sexual fulfillment. All right, so we know every married couple, this is what it's all about. And, sexual fulfillment. You may have different needs in this. Usually, women are a crock pot. They warm up slowly. Men are a microwave. They're instantly ready and there. And you want to remember this. And it's if your spouse is not as high in sexual fulfillment as you are, it's okay because we're all made differently. And what you find is whenever you meet one another's needs, spend time together, listen and love, empathize, care, then this is fulfilled, whichever side you're on. If it's a high need for you or a lower need, it is a need for couples and it brings them together and it's their special time and it's very intimate. It's very intimate. Three is intimate conversation. Are you a talker? Are you a listener? Do you share your heart? Are you closed up and you don't share too much? Intimate conversation. Everybody needs a little bit of this. Otherwise, you don't know what's going on with the other person. And if you're not listening, it basically says you don't care. Intimate conversation. So somebody high in this focuses attention on very personal interests. What are you interested in? Problems, topics, and events. It reflects the caring love you have for one another. Now, I know I'm a talker. I like to share everything. And so this is one of my top areas. And, my husband's a great listener. And if he wasn't a great listener, I think I would not feel so close to him. But, if he just looked at me and he was not listening when I was chatting, I have realized sometimes maybe I talk a little too much. So I try to pull back a little bit. But, you know, if this is one of your spouse's top needs, it's really important. Intimate conversation. That was number three. Number four, recreational companionship. Typically, this is men. They want to go fishing. They want you to go to the ball game with them. Maybe they want to go camping. They want to go on new adventures. But, sometimes it's women. I happen to be one of those that I need a little change. I get a little restless and things a little bored. And I love to have to move. So that goes along with let's say it, recreation. That goes along with that. I like to move. I like to hike. I like to do new things. And my husband is not as interested in that because but he's a mover. He just does physical labor. This is good. Someone in the house has to do that physical labor. But he does that with me. Recreational companionship is finding those things that you love to do together. And in the chemistry of lasting love, that free gift that I have for you, you will find a whole list of ideas. Sometimes we literally forget, what did we have in common when we got married? What do we like to do together? And now maybe you have kids and you don't have as much time or interest and you're exhausted. So, what do you like to do together? It might be something different. And to help you find, I don't remember, it's like maybe 50 ideas, something like that, inside of the chemistry of lasting love, where you'll find these sheets and the little guide that helps you figure out yours and his and kind of bring those together. So recreational companionship, that was number four. Number five is honesty and openness. Some people are not as open. They keep their thoughts to themselves, but at least they don't like badger you by saying horrible, mean things, right? But they keep their thoughts to themselves and they're not that open. And I think in an intimate relationship, we want to really know one another. You want to know one another better than anyone else knows you or knows your spouse. You want to know one another. And, like with the recreational companionship, you want to have fun together. You want your spouse to have the most fun with you. You really don't want to hear about your spouse having such a wonderful time with somebody else all the time. Because when we have fun and we enjoy something, that needs to be our spouse. They need to be our best friend. We need to like them and enjoy them. And that's what we're working on. Because once we get this needs thing filled, it's like you become closer and you didn't even realize how far apart maybe that you had gotten. You become closer. So five, honesty and openness. To feel secure, we want accurate information about our spouse's thoughts, feelings, habits, dislikes, daily activities, their history, what else has gone on in their life. You don't want to keep anything under wraps on that. You want to share these things with each other. Five, honesty and openness. The sixth one is physical attractiveness. Now, the first thing we think of is, oh my gosh, you have to, have the hair thing and the makeup thing and the fancy dress thing. You got to be skinny and look like a model and all that kind of thing. But it's really not just that. It is hygiene, personality, personal style, and then weight. So weight does come in on that. Hey, I'm not as skinny as I was like, 30 years ago. So physical appearance, it's doing our best, being our best, paying a little attention. And there again, I have to say, when no one's home and I'm working at home, yeah, I have real good appearance. But when I go out, I always fix up. And I used to always tell my spouse whenever I was home with my babies and my little kids, and he went off to work and with 20 some people in the office, and I would say, well, honey, they look just like me when they get up in the morning because they're fixing up, of course, to come to work, right? Six, physical attractiveness, looking our best. It kind of shows that we're respectful of our spouse, taking care of ourselves. And that's six, physical attractiveness. Seven is financial support. I know I used to always hear the thing, oh man, I'm going to marry a rich man. Nowadays, probably men go, I'm going to marry a a rich woman and let her take care of me. No, financial support. Some people need that financial support, and some people are going to go out and work and do it themselves, or they need to be a part of it. So sometimes, women are out working because they need to feel like they are giving back in that. Now, I will say, when women are at home taking care of their kids, that's the biggest job a woman could ever have. No, it doesn't pay a lot, but it pays in love and caring and admiration. And your kids admire you more than you think they do. But financial support, if financial support is really important, I think most of the time that's important to women, that their husband's going to be the provider and take care. And that's biblical, actually. When we go back to God's word, we find that it lays a plan out for us, a perfect plan when followed fortifies a family, right? Fortifies the family. And we live in a time when things got a little mixed up. The clarity of absolute right and absolute wrong has been blurred, and it's causing a lot of confusion. But financial support. Men usually provide financial support unless you've had a conversation and the two of you have decided, you know what? I'm doing this. I make a ton of money. Hey, honey, will you stay home with the kids? Most of the time, guys don't want to do that, but sometimes they might, right? So, financial support, expectations between the male and female. Sometimes it has to do with our upbringing, what our parents did. And things that come into this are whether you're a saver or a spender and who gets to control the money. So, you have to talk about that. But Fact two. Seven is financial support. And is that important to you? All right. And eight, domestic support. Here is the other side of the coin, right? Financial, domestic. Support, important factor in every home because who's going to take care of the kids? Who's going to buy the groceries? Who's going to clean the house? Who's going to wash the clothes? Who's going to take care of these things? You know, taking care of your home, or what we've always called a homemaker. Think about the words homemaker. The homemaker sets how the house looks, how clean it is, how messy it is, if they're a perfectionist or if they're very laid back, how the everything goes on in the house, how people communicate. Yeah, there's a big job to that. Domestic support. But it gets old and you get tired of doing it. And I've been doing it for over 40 years. So sometimes I get tired of doing those things. Moms get tired. And it's important that sometimes, you know, maybe the other spouse helps with that a little and gives you some relief on that. And it's the same thing as, the woman doing some kind of work where she's helping make a little bit of the money. It's a partnership. It's a partnership. But how important is it to you or to your spouse for that domestic support? Some women want to do it all. My mother used to do everything in my parents' home upon the house. And one day she said to me, Connie, you used to be really neat as a little kid. And I looked at my mom and I said, Mother, you used to fold all my clothes and put them in my drawer. Yeah, she was the one that was neat. She took care of everything, and she really didn't allow us to do anything because she wanted it a certain way. So, domestic support, how important is that? And then number nine, family commitment. Now, this goes back to what kind of family you came from. But let's take it further. What kind of family do you want to have, right? So, family support, if you came from a family with just mom or just dad, then it's a little different. They didn't have any support. That's hard, but it doesn't have to be that way for you. So family support, family commitment, quality time and responsibility for the development, mentality, and physical needs of the children. Family support. And it might even be if you don't have kids. Maybe it's baby dogs, right? Some people have a doggy family. But family support, it is, we could actually take that back to time. And that's not actually on here anywhere, I do believe. But family support, a lot of times that's spending time together, spending time with the family. Um, Doing things together, going, to the Christmas musical together, Easter, hunting eggs together, and mommy and daddy being there, um, going to the children's school events. Uh, Sometimes you have to divide it up. It's hard to get it all in. But family commitment, really being committed to the family. And a lot of times everybody getting home, at the same time or close in so that you can have dinner together. That's a big family event, and it teaches unity and coming together, gives you a chance to share. And I would say that definitely fortifies a family when families eat together, they eat dinner together. I think that's the one thing because everybody's going different directions. Family commitment. So if your spouse is high in that, it's going to be very important that you pay attention to that. And then the last one is admiration and appreciation. Everybody needs to be appreciated for their part of the partnership. Everybody needs to be appreciated for their part of the partnership. And some people naturally admire those who do things they can't do. They naturally admire those who take care of them and do nice things for them. And then some people really don't pay attention. They're like, they don't give compliments and that kind of thing. And so it's important to admire and appreciate. So that's number 10. I think I might have told you there was 15. I didn't mean to lie. There's only 10. Aren't we glad? So out of these 10, you're probably high in five. And I would even say really pay attention to your top three. So you fill out the sheets, the guide, the free guide, The Chemistry of Lasting Love, theextraordinarymarriage.com/five, the number five, needs. You can go right in and download that and read it all and follow through with it. I would love to hear back from you, Connie at The Extraordinary Marriage. I would like to hear what difference it made for you, or if you have questions. So, to recap on this, what must a couple do to stay happily married? To pay attention, right? To make their marriage, their friendship, their relationship, their romance the best. Romantic love only happens when each person continues to make love deposits into the other person's account. That's a simple concept, and it is so true. A romance, a romantic relationship is between two people in love, who meet each other's intimate emotional needs. An emotional need is a craving that, when satisfied, leaves us feeling happy and content. And when it's satisfied, we when it's unsatisfied, we feel unhappy and frustrated. But you don't have to do that anymore because when you fill out this sheet, this guide, and you both do it, you're going to figure out what your top 3 to 5 needs are for your spouse. And then, put it up in your makeup mirror. Put it over a sticky note on the dash of your car. Put it on the bathroom mirror. Put it out where you see it, the 5 needs your spouse needs from you, and they do the same thing where they put your needs wherever they can see them, and be reminded about what your spouse needs from you. I mean, one of the main things that I do is I have a class that's called Rediscover Your Spouse, and it teaches you how you assume things and you're both so very, very different. And you assume your spouse is thinking what you think they're thinking. They're probably not. You think they should act like you act. Maybe you're quiet and good grief, they're so loud. Yeah. Maybe you react differently to frustration. Maybe somebody's sarcastic. Maybe somebody gets angry all the time. Maybe somebody closes down and won't talk. Well, Rediscover Your Spouse helps you figure that out. It's like a 3-hour class. You can watch it a little bit at a time, and it's an on demand workshop, and it's on The Extraordinary Marriage. I'm Connie Durham. I thank you for listening today, and I hope this makes your love life better. More romance in your marriage. Until next time.